What the actual heck is this? Stranger Things finale. Oh my god, it was so bad. And I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. The thing is, it's not even fully about Byler. Like, I wanted Byler, and I was hopeful, and I think Byler should have happened, because it would have been such a big, beautiful thing. But it's not even only about Byler. It's just the writing, acting, everything. It was so bad. Everything was bad. Every character were the same. What happened to the ships? Like, Jonathan, Nancy broke up. The only actual good couple were Lumex, which I'm happy they got their happy ending. But like, how did they manage to ruin everything in one season, in like 4 episodes? There were so many plot holes and inconsistencies. Like, I left with more questions than I started the finale with. How do they manage to do this? They, even in their interview, they were like, we hope we tied up all hands. Well, you didn't. You did. There's so many inconsistencies, like everything. So many questions were unanswered. Where did the Demogorgons go? The bats, the everything now. Like, there's so much just not answered. They just forgot. They just didn't care to explain all of this because they didn't have an explanation. They just didn't even care to come up with anything. The actors and this, especially the Duffer Brothers. By the way, I'm gonna say it, I hate you guys. I hate the Duffer Brothers. You guys are literally the bane of my existence. I'm gonna tweak. But they were like, oh, they're gonna be 6 deaths. It's the darkest Christmas ever. Bro, were those 6 deaths the military people? Like, no one died. No one died. How did no one die? I wanted someone to die. I wanted people to die, please. There were so many opportunities to kill characters, and that would have been better than how it turned out. For example, Jancy, that one scene in when they were like sinking in the slime. Bro, they turn out to be just boring ass people who broke up. It would have been more impactful if they just died. I'm sorry, I love them, but they should have died. Like, anyone, please. And Noah, when he said, you'll be satisfied, literally, do you know the definition of satisfied? No one is satisfied. There was nothing satisfying about that. Why are you just lying to us? There was gonna be a traitor, plot twist in the finale. Where? There was no traitor, no plot twist. Like, it's actually funny how stupid this is. How do they just blatantly lie about their show like this? 6 deaths, no 6 deaths, 6 deaths, no plot twist, no traitor. Like, what? What? Literally what? For example, with Birthday Gate, they just coincidentally forgot his birthday. Will's birthday was the same date as Henry. Coincidentally, they took his birthday on the videotape. Maybe there was a point to that, but then they dropped it. I don't know. How does Joyce just forget her son's age when he was taken? Like, this isn't something that should happen. If you're a writer, this shouldn't happen. Coincidences like this shouldn't happen. That's just so annoying because this was such a good show and it had so much potential, and then it just went downhill this season. Another thing, the dialogue, I thought it was so boring, so like one-dimensional. Everyone said their one witty line, and it's so funny. That one line from Mike, friends? No thank you. Best friends. First of all, who wrote this? I don't know if it was the delivery or the writing, probably both, but it was so bad. It was awful. And not even mentioning the literal bait. Oh, this was infuriating. They knew what they were doing with that pause, for real. Friends, no thanks. Longest pause ever, best friends. Shut the hell up. Literally, like, it's actually so frustrating. So, Byler. First of all, how didn't they do this? This was the best opportunity to have the best written queer relationship and representation ever. But no, they're just not gonna do it. And I mean, they're cowards and whatever. But it pisses me off because they had the opportunity of a lifetime. We Byler fans we were the ones carrying the fandom. We're the ones actually watching the show, analyzing the show, talking about the show. We're the ones keeping this show alive, this fandom alive. We have invested so much time and energy into this for nothing. Just for them to please the GA. We should be the one who they want to please. We're the real fans who actually pay attention, actually invested in this show. But no, they're just cowards who don't give a heck about their fans. It was our fault for believing two white, middle-aged, cis men to do this. Like, what were we thinking, honestly? We saw the signs and they were there. The signs were there. And they just made a mockery of us and ridiculed us for actually watching the show, actually participating in a fandom. Because that's what media is for. Media is made to be analyzed, and we did that. And what did we get from it? Nothing. We got nothing from it, and we're the actual fans. We're the ones who actually analyze the show. I feel so let down. These two, Will and Mike, could have been the best written characters of television history. They could have been such amazing characters, but no, they just weren't. The gag is, Byler started with Mike. When season 1 and 2 came out, people thought Mike was the one in love with Will, but then Will turned out gay. And now you have the opportunity to represent queer people to all these people. This is the biggest show of our time, and you have the opportunity to represent and show queer characters, and then you just butcher it so bad. Like, even Noah was uncomfortable with the coming out scene. What even was that coming out scene for? I mean, it's just insulting. If you're gonna write bad representation of queer people, I'd rather you just don't write it at all, because that does more harm than good. In like the finale, he talked about coming out on his own terms and stuff. He didn't. Vecna forced him to come out. What is this about? Also, turns out that final scene where he says friends, no thanks, best friends, wasn't even supposed to be in the show. Noah had to come up to the Duffers, the writers, and say, like, we need more conclusion then. Because the coming out scene was supposed to be the conclusion of Byler. And then he ends up with a freaking OC epilogue boyfriend from Mike's imagination. Don't even piss me off. While Dustin and Mike had like their future in the epilogue, they looked into their future. Oh, they're gonna have jobs, a career, they're gonna study and have friends with Steve and blah blah blah. But Will's future, he's gonna be at a bar, and he's gonna meet a guy, and he's gonna be gay. What? His only personality is being gay, is what I take from that. Like, he's not gonna have a job, he's not gonna have an education, he's gonna be gay. That is one and only thing. And that is such an annoying thing, because that's always what happens with queer characters, is their only personality is, or like personal character trait, is being gay. They never get anything else. Like, please, that's not good representation. It's actually funny how the other people got careers, jobs, and he got gay. He's gay. He's just gay. Like, how did they manage to do this so badly? Also, Vicky and Robin in the epilogue. Where was even Vicky? They had 2 scenes together, both of them for the plot, and like, that's not good representation. They didn't show the development of the relationship either, which is like, we're not gonna get attached to these characters, this relationship, without development and seeing that. And that's always what happens with queer relationships, is they just get thrown to the side, the background. They're together now. We never get to see actual development in the relationship, because the writers need queer characters, and like, just put them on the background. And it's so annoying. Why is always the goal to have self-acceptance? Ken will not get his happy ending, because this isn't a happy ending. He got rejected. He didn't even confess. He has to live with his love for his best friend and just get over it. That's not a happy ending. That's not a good ending. That's just depressing. The point of queer representation is to give queer people hope, and like, show people that this is possible. So, okay, it's possible for you to never get with your crush. It's possible for you to just get rejected, right? As if we didn't know that already. Please, cannot one character ever get what they actually want? The other funny thing is, Max was talking about like coming out of the Vecna's trance or whatever, and she said, oh, all I needed was him, Lucas. And then Will is like, all I needed was myself. So you're telling me the goal for straight people is always a romance, but for queer people it's always just self-acceptance? No, we want to see queer people get that chance too, to be loved, and to have the people they love them too. This is something that happens in every mainstream straight show with gay head couples or people characters. Self-acceptance is always the goal and never actual romance. I get it, self-acceptance, whatever. We have seen enough self-acceptance for a lifetime. Can we not once get a mainstream show with them ending up with the people they want to love and want to love them? Is that too much to ask for? No. And his love for Mike, him being gay, fueling like a straight couple, was just the tip of the iceberg. This whole season, Mike and Elle have not had a single romantic moment, haven't kissed, haven't referred to each other as girlfriend, boyfriend. They've said friend, and now boom, they're in love. What? They're gonna kiss? No. Where did that come from? Literally no development. That they ended season 4 with Elle not talking to Mike, and then 18 months later they're hugging, friends, whatever. And then boom, they kiss. Where did that come from? Literally no development. They just, all of a sudden, they're in love. They know. We have to see that development because last I checked, they weren't even together. They were friends. The worst part, he didn't even say I love you to Elle right before she died. The one thing she wanted. I swear, if you are a 11 shipper, I'll just automatically assume you hate Elle because she deserves so much better. She does not deserve this. Mike had no development from season 4. Season 4, he was all like, oh, I can't say I love you, whatever. And it ended with her not talking to him. So where did this come from? She was like, it's always been you. When was always then? Because it's never been him. It should never have been him. And it's actually infuriating how bad this was written. I'm not even mad about them being endgame. If they had written it well, then it could have been good. But it wasn't. It was just all of a sudden they're in love. No, just no. I'm over it. I'm over 11. And if you ship them, I automatically think you hate Elle. In the epilogue, when Dustin had his speech and everything, I was so confused because last I checked, he was beaten to half to death by bullies at school. No girls liked them. But then, boom, his speech comes. Oh, everyone loves him. Yes, yes, Hellfire. Yes, Dustin. Bro, you guys thought he murdered your star captain. Where the hell did this come from? Why are they all of a sudden just, yes, we love Dustin and Hellfire? Oh my god, is it not okay to just be an outcast and different? Because of course it had to end with them, oh, everyone at school loves you, girls are gonna ask you to parties. No. I know they didn't actually go to the party, but it's just, as someone who's, not popular, I really saw myself in this show and these characters, for them to just end up, oh, everyone at school loves us now. Oh my god. Shouldn't the message from this show be like, it's okay to be an outcast, it's okay not to be popular, and then they don't turn out popular? Like, they just should, that just didn't need to happen. I also thought it was kind of cringe when he was like in his Hellfire shirt and everyone was cheering. Last time I checked, y'all hated Hellfire. Y'all thought it was a demonic cult. Damn, like it was supposed to be about outcasts, but no, they're popular now. Oh. So Byler. I watched it last night and it was really mind-opening how bad this is. And I was in my bathroom like crying. I didn't cry, but a few tears were shed because they had the opportunity of a lifetime, and Mike should have been the best representation of internalized homophobia. But no, he's just a douchebag. This is what pisses me off most. It's a literal... They literally played in our faces with this shit because we saw the hints. We saw what was there, and it was there. What was the point of all of this? Like, explain to me then. Why was he looking at Elle at the end of season 3 when she just kissed him, said I love you, and he was looking like that? What was the point of all the closets? Like, kissing Elle in front of the closet. The one-way sign to the closet. His closet being exploded. What was the point of everything? Blue and yellow. It was on purpose. They purposefully did this. And it's evil and cruel. And the Duffer Brothers... You guys are going to hell. I'm sorry, the Duffer Brothers, you can go to hell because you're evil and cruel and did this on purpose to queer bait everyone. They kept Byler on the edge till the very end to keep us here for engagement bait, because they know that Byler is such a huge community, and they know we probably make up half the engagement because we're the ones posting about it, talking about it, analyzing it. And they do this on purpose so that they'll keep us there to make more money. And now we're left with nothing. We're left literally blindsided. They could have just said bluntly, Mike doesn't like Will, like they did with Wednesday. They had like an announcement saying that one ship wasn't canon with Wednesday and the other main character, I think. They could have done that, but they didn't, on purpose to keep us as viewers. And they're evil. The Duffers are evil and they need to be destroyed. I'm fuming, I'm pissed. Because it's such a slap in the face and making a mockery out of us. We are the ones who are keeping this fandom alive, and you dare to do this to us. We have been there since day one. Don't come here and tell us we're delusional, because we are the ones making up this freaking fandom. What was the point of Blue and Yellow? They do this on purpose. The directors, camera work, lighting, costume designs, set designs, it was all on purpose to queerbait us for real. Why was Mike so weird at the start of season 4? Why? He was crying, hugging Will at the end of season 3, and then all of a sudden in season 4, he's weird. Freaking Finn said the painting was gonna pay off. He said it was gonna pay off. Where's the painting? The painting was hung up in his room like 10 years later in the future thing. It was hung up in his freaking bedroom. Who did this? You are evil. You are evil. None of this makes sense. None of Mike's character makes sense. He was just a bad friend, a bad boyfriend who couldn't say I love you for literally no reason. And Mike was my favorite character. But that was Mike in my head. Apparently, because he's just a douchebag. He's just a weirdo who can't say I love you. Mike Wheeler, I'm sorry the writers of your freaking show couldn't understand you. I'm sorry we as the fandom understood you more than the actual writers. It's infuriating to see his potential be destroyed. Mike, season 1 and 2 would hate epilogue Mike. Every character were destroyed. Also, Finn, do you have something to say? Like, why was he in that one specific scene in the bedroom? He was eyeing him up and then smacking his lips. What the hell was that? If Mike wasn't actually supposed to have feelings for Will, why did they keep that in? Why were they literally flirting? You cannot tell me that wasn't flirting. But no, they did that on purpose to bait us, to queerbait us. We have poured so much into this for them to just say fuck you, point their finger at us and say fuck you and mock us for their freaking views and money. What was the point of 12 hours of filming in that van scene? There's so much unexplained. And did they do everything for shits and giggles? Why are they doing this to us? They could have and should have wrapped up Will's rejection in season 4. But they didn't. They kept it there and they kept it in until season 5, the freaking finale, final episode, to keep us as viewers. To keep us hoping it's actually evil and cruel to all the people who were hoping to see representation of themselves in these characters. But no, they fucked it up and ruined everything just to keep the general audience satisfied. The general audience aren't the ones buying your merch, engaging in the fandom. It's us, the ones that are actually dedicated. I have so much merch and I regret it so bad. I've been in this fandom for many years, all for nothing. I've given them my literal money for nothing. I swear, it's so cruel for them to do this to us. This ending, it would have been so much better if it was just Byler. Because the ending made no sense. Mike and Elle ending up together made no sense. They had no development or nothing. It's just cruel. It's just cruel. And at this point, they're just taking advantage of queer representation and media for views, for money, for likes. It was engagement bait from Byler shippers. They wanted to keep us talking about it for until the very end. I think I've said everything I wanted to. I just wanted to get this out of my head and move on at this point. I never want to think about Stranger Things again this last season. I mean, I'll always ship Byler because that's what fandom is about. When someone says like, oh, it's not canon, why do you ship it? Bro, do you know what shipping, like, if only you knew the ships out there, bro. This is the least concerning ship you should be thinking about, because the signs were there clearly, and if you had watched one YouTube video and you would see the signs, they were there. They've always been there. You just refuse to see it. I mean, it doesn't need to be canon to ship it, and I mean, I do still ship it, but I'm just so disappointed, and honestly, I feel embarrassed. They're gonna be like, oh, 11, which it wasn't. It literally wasn't. She died, and they're gonna live apart for the rest of their lives. But either way, I think what we got out of this was never trust anything that doesn't say it's blatantly canon. I'm never gonna ship, or at least I'm gonna ship, but I'm not gonna have hope for those ships to be canon ever again, because it's just queer bait. It's always queer bait. The most important thing about Byler is the community and fandom we made, and all the amazing people here, and we all went crazy together, and that's what matters, you know. We all went crazy together, and if that's how it is, if we were just crazy and delusional all this time, then I regret nothing, because this ship has brought me so much amazing stuff, and I wouldn't change it for the world. This fandom is truly like one of the best ones I've ever been in. Byler is definitely up there. Like, no matter what the Duffers say, we as a fandom know what we think, and their opinion about Byler can't change anything. Their opinion about Mike and Will can't change anything, because I know in my heart Mike loves Will. Like, I know it. I just, apparently the Duffers just didn't know it. I apparently know the characters better than the Duffers. Yeah, apparently I did, and we all did, and I'm gonna forget this last season ever happened, and I'm gonna keep loving my ship, keep loving my characters. The only thing that matters is that we have each other, the fandom, and we have these characters, the ships, whatever, and we went crazy together for real. I'm gonna move on. I'm done with this show. I'm done. But yeah, we went crazy together, guys. I'm gonna go cry myself to sleep now. Bye.